All right, let's get right to the questions. Someone asked just a second ago, what is the difference between OA X-ray and CyberMonkey Deals? Okay, so CyberMonkey Deals is a service provided by Scanner Monkeys, and it's basically a list. It's a buying list. You are able to go to CyberMonkey Deals and choose the type of list that you want to buy. It's a list of items that they suggest that you purchase for online arbitrage. There's different types of lists. You can pick lists of products that are in the top 5% of their categories, the top 3% of their categories, the top 1% of their categories. You can buy lists that have 20 items, 10 items, 5 items. There's different options for you, along with a bunch of other different services. But the main purpose of that is to save you time so that when you are going to purchase something online, this list gives you an idea of things that you can purchase. And it's all different categories. There's baby items, there's shoes, there's there's not shoes. There's baby items, there's grocery, there's toys. They're all different type of stuff. And it's randomly assigned. It's that way that they know that there's not everybody is getting the same deals. Only a small number of people are going to get the same deal that you do, but not everyone is getting the exact same. We love CyberMonkey Deals. We've been subscribed to their list. Wow, it's probably been at least 6 months. It might even be longer. My wife can put the exact time in the comments. But we love CyberMonkey Deals. It's around $50 a month for a list of items that it gives you other things too. It leads you right to the website where you can buy it from. It gives you the camel information, all the links that kind of help you make your best decision. So it's really been close to a year we've been doing CyberMonkey Deals. That's awesome. And during Q4 we actually doubled up and got 2 subscriptions to CyberMonkey Deals. And you can go to cybermonkeydeals.com to find out more information about that, or you can learn about it at our blog post, fulltimefba.com/startoa, and then you'd be able to figure out what we love about CyberMonkey Deals. So you're asking the question, what's the difference between CyberMonkey Deals and OA X-Ray? CyberMonkey Deals is a list of items that they suggest you go purchase for online arbitrage. OA X-Ray is a program that you can use on websites to turn the pages, to turn the sales pages into a spreadsheet, and it basically, so I'll just explain it this way. Imagine you go to Target.com. You go to Target.com and you're like, okay, I'm going to check out the toy section. So I click on the toy section, and so I'm on the toy section. There's like 50 toys on the page. Without OA X-Ray, you'd have to go to each individual item, see if it's on Amazon, see what the ROI is, whatever. And it takes a lot of time. But with OA X-Ray, you just click on the OA X-Ray link. It's the plugin, and it turns that page into a spreadsheet that includes the Amazon sales page, the Amazon sales rank, the category, the return on investment, the net profit. It gives you where you might be able to find it at other places online at other prices, and gives you a bunch of different options. And almost all the time, the matches that OA X-Ray does is an exact match on Amazon. Every once in a while, they get it a little bit wrong, so you always want to make sure you do your due diligence. But we love OA X-Ray. We use it on multiple different store websites, and we find stuff all the time. And what's really great about OA X-Ray is that you're the one you're finding the stuff yourself. CyberMonkey Deals gives you the list. OA X-Ray, you go out and find the list of items yourself. You go out and find the inventory. So it's a whole lot more likely that other people aren't finding the exact same thing that you are. And if you go to fulltimefba.com/OA X-Ray, then you get double the free trial than if you just went straight to OAXray.com. And OA X-Ray, they usually give a 3-day free trial, but with going to fulltimefba.com/OA X-Ray, you'll be able to get a 6-day free trial. And we really suggest that during those 6 days, you make sure you've got the time to invest in learning it. We love OA X-Ray. We were just talking about it the other day, about how their YouTube channel is awesome. They teach a lot of really good ways to use their program, because you can use it in a lot of other ways too, not just with online arbitrage. You can also use OA X-ray with wholesale and a bunch of other different things. So we love them both. So you can find out more about that, fulltimefba.com/OA X-ray. So there was a question before about where to find examples of good and bad Keepa and camel graphs. That's a really good question. In fact, my wife and I right now are putting together a resource full of different Keepa, I almost did it again, camel graphs and Keepa graphs, showing you how to read them, how to understand them, and how to know what's good and what's bad. Some ways that you can find out right now before we release this resource. That you can go to Facebook pages, Facebook, Amazon, FBA group pages, and in their search bar type in camel or Keepa, and or you can go to YouTube and type in camel or Keepa, and you may be able to find some things. But right now, my wife and I are putting together a program about how to read the camel graphs and the Keepa graphs to make the best decision when it comes to sourcing, best decision when it comes to pricing. So be looking for that coming up soon. That's really, we're planning to have it ready by April. So be listening and paying attention about that. Okay, what suggestions do you have for newbies doing RA or OA? When it comes to retail arbitrage, for someone just starting out, would you recommend OA or RA? It honestly depends on where you live and the time that you have to spend. If you live in an area with a multitude of stores that you can do retail arbitrage in, and you have the time available to go visit those stores, I highly recommend retail arbitrage as the best place to start, because you're able to find items, whether you're going to the clearance section at Walmart, or you're checking all the end caps at Target, or you're going and you found a really good sale at your grocery store, or there's this, the toys on clearance at Walgreens. If you can start with RA, I would suggest doing that, and for a few reasons. Number one, actually having the item in your hand and being able to scan it and know if it's something that you should buy, being able to buy it that day and possibly send it to Amazon the next day will give you a faster results. I mean, that item's going to sell faster because you purchased it today and you send it in as soon as possible. And the faster an item can get to the Amazon warehouse, the less likely other people are going to find that item and come in on Amazon. The prices might go down. So you start getting a lot of momentum with retail arbitrage. Also, just being in the stores and seeing what's there, you start to learn a lot of different things about different stores, because each store has their own personality when it comes to sourcing. I source a lot differently in Target than I do at Walmart. I source a lot differently at Walgreens than I do at the grocery store. And so they're all just different mindsets that you have, different things to do. And so I really suggest starting out with retail arbitrage. But if you live in a town that doesn't have a whole lot of retail arbitrage opportunities, a lot of retail stores, then online arbitrage is good for you, because you can go to the store. Online arbitrage, you can go to the online stores anytime you want, and you can find deals. And not only, because most retail arbitrage finds that you get, especially if they're clearance, you'll be able to find one or two, maybe three. But online arbitrage, you can be like, I'm going to get 10 of these bad boys. This is an awesome deal. I'm going to get 10 of them. And you get them shipped to you, and then you ship it off to Amazon. So if you have the time available to go from store to store, and you have enough stores in your area, retail arbitrage is the way to go. If you don't have a lot of time, maybe you've got kids at home a lot, you're not able to get out to a lot of retail stores, you don't have a lot of time, and you don't have a lot of retail stores around, then online arbitrage is where I suggest you go to. So I saw a question earlier about Amazon to Amazon flips. Does Amazon frown on that? I cannot speak for Amazon, but I do know that they've got some policies in place where you are not allowed to use the prime shipping in order to ship an item to yourself and sell it on Amazon. Send it back into FBA to sell it. If you do purchase something to buy on Amazon in order to sell it on Amazon, you need to not do Prime shipping. You need to do just regular standard shipping, and pay the shipping costs if there is shipping costs. You want to be sure that you do that. Some people have asked if you have to have a different account for your buying and a different account for selling, and you can, and that's fine. I mean, I have 2 Amazon accounts, but Amazon already knows you're using the same IP address. They know that those are connected. So even if you purchase an item on Amazon, use Prime shipping, have it sent to you, and then sell it on a different account, they still know that you're the same person running this. And if you do it enough times, you're going to get dinged. You're going to get an email. You're going to get a warning. You might get a suspension. And that's someplace you don't want to go. You don't want to be suspended or even get a warning for that. So if you've done it in the past, don't worry about it. I don't think it's anything to worry about. But if you start doing it on a consistent basis, Amazon to Amazon flips, then it's something to be sure you're trying to do the right thing. Do you recommend special trips for rural Walmart or Target retail arbitrage? That's a good question. I think, again, if you have the time and you've got the rural Walmarts in your area, I think it's worth going to. I don't know if there's any rural Targets. I don't see a lot of rural Targets. I feel like there's more rural Walmarts that are out there. But I've done that before. We love rural Walmarts. There's times where I will spend all day. I will leave at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll get to my first Walmart at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'll get to the next one at around 11 o'clock. And then I'll get to the next one around 3 o'clock, or not 1 o'clock. And then, it takes me like 45 minutes to an hour to get to the next one because they're just in the middle of nowhere. But, of course, I spend all day going to just like 5 or 6 stores. I'm able to find awesome stuff most of the time because most people aren't sourcing for that kind of stuff, for retail arbitrage. And but unfortunately, I'm putting like 800 miles on my car sometimes. That's something I don't want to do. Put that much mileage on my car unless it's really worth it. And so I have done it in the past. I probably will do it sometime in the future if my wife and I are going on a trip and we're passing through rural Walmarts. But it all depends on what you have and what you're looking for. So yes, our poor minivan it's been through. It's like probably in shock how much it's been all over Texas. So I'm hiring out for a book sale on a one-time basis. Would you suggest paying per book or per hour? If you are hiring for a one-time basis to someone to go source books for you, I think it's important I'm not sure how you're planning on training them. If you're going to just train them at home at your own bookshelf on how to buy things and what to buy, I think it might be a good idea to pay them hourly during the training part, and whether you go to a half-price books or you go to a thrift store and you go look at all the books there, or even if you go to the library and I'm talking about the library book sale, but just the actual library, and just take books, and you're not actually going to purchase them, but you're going to just scan them all, trying to find a profitable book that way. I would pay them hourly during the training, but then I would probably pay them a certain percentage of the sales of the final sale price for whatever they actually sell. So I'd pay them hourly for the training, and then I would pay them maybe 30% of the final what you take home after that book sells. I wouldn't even suggest paying them per book until it actually sells. And so that means you need to kind of keep track of a few things. We use Inventory Lab. We love Inventory Lab, and there's a way that you can log the item to a particular person or a particular store. So we have someone who does book sales for us. And so whenever she comes and she's like, hey, I've got some books for you, well, when I'm listing the item on Inventory Lab, I'd be sure to put her initials in the section where the book is coming from. That way, at the end of the month, I can run a report and be like, okay, these are all the books that you sold. This is what we made from them. This was our take-home, and you get 30% of that. So that's what we do. We got that idea from the book Outsourcing Sourcing by Ryan Grant. You can find out more about that, fulltimefba.com/outsourcing. And yeah, he in his book he's got many ideas of how to pay your book sourcer. And so I really recommend maybe paying hourly during the training and paying them after the book actually sells, because that's gonna. I mean, if you're gonna pay them per book, they're gonna go to the library book sale and be like, "I'll take them all." So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure they're making quality decisions, that they're not buying inventory that's just gonna be dead inventory in the end. So that was a good question. I appreciate all the questions, and it's been really good so far, trying to figure out what is up. Do you save inventory for Q4? Very few times do we save inventory for Q4, and I'll tell you the reasons we do. Most of the items that we buy to sell, we send in to Amazon no matter what. We send them into Amazon, we price them, and I'll be like, you know what? It might take 6 months to sell. It might take a year for us to sell out of these. But I'm a firm believer that inventory that's staying at your home is not making you any money. And it's possible that, you can send that stuff into Amazon and it sell a lot faster than you think. But the only thing, we do save inventory to send in if it's before February 15th. Long-term storage fees are calculated in April. In April. Long-term storage fees are calculated on August 15th, which means anything sent to Amazon before February 15th gets charged a long-term storage fee on August 15th. So if we've got some items in January or the first half of February that we want to send to Amazon, and we think these are probably going to still be here past August 15th, and they're multiple items, because Amazon only charges long-term storage fees for the items that you have multiples of. We'll wait and hold on until after February 15th, because if you wait till after February 15th to send the stuff in, they're not going to be charged a long-term storage fee until the following February 15th. Because the August 15th storage fees are only going to be charged on items that have been there since before February 15th. Hopefully that makes sense. The only items that we keep stored at our house for Q4 in mind are items that we know are not priced right now at where we want to sell it, but that we know that in Q4 the price is going to be much higher. We sell a lot of board games. Y'all know I love selling board games. I even wrote a book on it. You can go to fulltimefba.com/board games. I wrote the book, The Reseller's Guide to Board Games, How to Turn Play Money into Real Money. And something that we have noticed, I'd buy board games all year round, send them into Amazon FBA, price them for Q4, because I'd be like, I can get $100 for this board game in Q4. Right now it's about $35 or $40, but in Q4 I'm going to get $100. But what happens is that sometimes in July, Amazon loses my item, or I ship it in and Amazon loses my item, and their reimbursement policy is to reimburse for the fair market value, what the current going rate. They'll take a look at the 5 lowest prices that are selling on Amazon, and they'll reimburse me minus fees. So if I buy a board game for $20, knowing it's going to sell for $100 in December, I don't want to send it in until probably after October, because if I buy it for $20 and right now it's being priced at about $35, if they lose it, they're going to be like, well, I'm just going to reimburse you for $35 minus fees, so you'll get $23 back, and I'll be like, I spent all this time and energy. So the only time we really do hold things back from sending them into Amazon are when we know we're going to be pricing it really high during the final months of Q4. So hopefully that makes sense and is helpful. I think we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. Let's see. Do you use a prep and pack company for online arbitrage? We don't. We prep and pack ourselves. We do outsource the prep part of this. We have someone who we brought onto our team to help take care of taking stickers off, polybagging, wrapping shoes, making sure that the boxes stay closed, a bunch of different things like that. So we have outsourced that part. But one of the things that we really feel strongly about is when we do it online arbitrage, we want to make sure that what we are purchasing, A, is what we actually purchased, and B, is in the condition that we purchased it in. I mean, we've bought shoes before that we had shipped to us from the store. We opened them up and they're like, these have been used. It looks like they've been used for like 3 weeks. I don't want my end customer to get that. I don't want it to go ship to a prep company and they don't do the due diligence to really and some of the prep companies say that they do the due diligence. I know they try, but I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk them, running late and skipping over that. And then also, how many of you ever ordered something online and you got the wrong item sent to you? Well, that's another thing. I don't want someone to send in the wrong item. So, yeah, in fact, our helper caught the wrong shoe sizes. We ordered something that was like size 12, and they sent us size 12 wide, and it was like, no, that's not, or something like that. That's not what we wanted. That's not what we ordered. And so yeah, it was a wide instead of an M. And so for us, the only time I would ever use a prep service to take care of my online arbitrage orders is probably if I lived outside of the United States. If I was, in fact, I talked to somebody last week who was from Taiwan. They were looking for how to make money on Amazon, but they lived in Taiwan. And I was like, this is what I would do. I would purchase from United States-based retail stores online, send it to a U.S.-based prep center, and have them send it to the U.S.-based FBA warehouses. I mean, you can do this overseas, not see anything, not touch anything, and that's the only time I would do it. But since I live in the United States, I want to make sure that I get the items, check them out myself, make sure that they match before I send it in to Amazon. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, I'd appreciate a little thumbs up below. That would be really cool. And if you have a comment or a question, you can do that below too. Any of the links that we talked about during this video, you can find that in the description below, and it will take you right where you need to go. And if you want to be sure you don't miss out on any of the future videos, be sure you subscribe to this channel, and you'll be able to get notifications when our new videos are posted so you don't miss out on any Amazon FBA information. And if you want to learn more about me and the website, come to fulltimefba.com, where, as always, it's my goal to give you the strategies, the tools, and the confidence you need to turn part-time hours into a full-time income with Amazon. Well, that's all for today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.